Good evening, my wonderful students. I'm coming to you from my apartment where I live. Today I'm going to talk about order of operations. Now, there's an order in which I do things when I come home. I like to come in, turn on all my lights, and check all my rooms because I'm scared of the boogeyman. So, he's loud. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to show you what order of operations is all about. First, let's go in the door. Ooh, nice and dark in here. First thing I'm going to do is turn on the light. Ah, much better. Now in math, we have order of operations too. What is it? And why do you need to know it? Well, like I said, in order to do things, usually we do the first step first, then the second, then the third, then the fourth. Well, in math, operations are the things that we do with numbers, like add, subtract, multiply, numbers in parentheses, exponents, divide. Why do we need to know this? Because we need to get the right answer! As always. So let's go into the kitchen and see what's going on in there. Today I'm not going to cook, but we need to remember a trick to the order of operations. And it's an acronym called PEMDAS. Let's break down PEMDAS for everybody. I like to remember it as the P equals please, which stands for parentheses. In this example right here, 2 plus 2 is inside the parentheses. Now we have E, excuse, which stands for exponents. And this is an example of an exponent. There's 4 right up here. This is 2 to the 4th power, or 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. We have the M and D together. This stands for my dear, which really stands for the multiplication and division operations. An example would be 2 times 2 divided by 2. And last but not least is AS, which stands for Aunt Sally, which really stands for addition and subtraction. An example would be 2 plus 2 minus 2. So if we can remember this, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, we'll be able to know which operation we do first when we have a problem that has multiple operations in one problem. Now, time to check my rooms for boogeymen. Ah! Whew, nothing in there. Let's go upstairs. Alright, we have a correct and incorrect way to do problems. And I'm going to show you a couple. Here we have a parentheses problem. We have 6 times 5 plus 3. Now, if I did it where I just did the 6 times 5 first, 6 times 5 is 30, and then plus 3 is 33. That's one way to do it. Now, how about if I did the thing in parentheses first? What's 5 plus 3? Well, that's 8. What's 6 times 8? Well, that's 48. So we got 2 different numbers. Which one's the right one? Well, only if I did the thing in parentheses first, according to my PEMDAS, or please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, I would know I would have to do this first. So 48 is the correct answer. Alright, how about exponents? Exponents are numbers that have this number in small right up to the top right of it. Here we have 5 times 2 squared is how we say that. Well, if I just did 5 times 2, which is 10, and then I did the square, I would have 100. Now, if I did it the correct way, 5 times 2 squared is actually the number 4. 5 times 4 is 20. Which is the right answer? Well, it's the one that we did the correct order of operations. 20. Now the last two, just as easy, but we're going to add in one little step next. MD is multiply and divide. We always do that before we add and subtract. So let's look at this. 2 plus 5 times 3. Well, if I did it this way, 2 plus 5 is 7, and 7 times 3 equals 21. That's one way. But if I did it how I'm supposed to, where multiply and divide, remember PEMDAS, or please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, we need to do this before we do addition and subtraction. So let's do it this way. We have 2 plus 5, which we're not going to do yet, but we have a 5 times 3. 5 times 3 is 15, and then we have 2 plus 15. Well, guess what? That equals 17, and that is the correct answer. All right, I hope you're getting it. Let's check another room and make sure there's no boogeymen in my house. Oh, here we go. There it is again. PEMDAS. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally. Parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, add, and subtract. It's so huge. We have to do it right. Let's do these examples. 3 plus 6 times 2. Here I just have addition and a multiplication. According to this, multiply before I add. So 6 times 2 I'm going to do, and that's 12. I have 3 plus 12, that equals 15. That's the way I do it. Well, let's look at this. It's the same numbers, but check this out. We have a parentheses. According to PEMDAS, we got to do the parentheses first, no matter what's inside. So 3 plus 6 is 9. And then we have a times 2. 9 times 2 equals 18. There we go. Let's look at the next one. We have a division and multiplication and division. Well, this is all in the same group, even though it says M to D. Here, we're just going to work left to right, no matter what operation it is, if it's in the same group. All right, here we go. 12 divided by 6 is 2. 2 times 3 is 6. Oops, 2 times 3 is 6. So we got 6 divided by 2 equals 3. So I just work from left to right when they're in the same group. Okay, multiply, divide is in the same group, add and subtract is in the same group. All right, here's a bigger one. Sometimes we have to work downwards with problems because we need more room. So we have 7 plus. Well, I can't do anything because I have parentheses first. So let's work in the parentheses. I have a multiplication, I have an exponent, and I have an addition problem. What am I supposed to do before anything else? That's right, exponent first. So we do this, 5 squared, that's 5 times 5 is 25. Now I have a multiplication problem. I have to do this before I do the addition. So 25 times 6, that's like 4 quarters is 100, and 2 more quarters is 50, so that's 150. Whoops, 150. Now I can add 3, and inside the parentheses I get 153, and outside the parentheses I have a 7. What's 7 plus 153? 160. And that's my answer. Let's go to the other room and see if I got anybody in here. Ah, that's a messy room. I guess I have to do some laundry later. Here's another incorrect way to do problems. Again, multiply and divide, we just go left to right. So, if I'm looking at this, 30 divided by 5 is 6 times 3 equals 18. Well, if I did this first, 5 times 3, which is 15, and I did 30 divided by 15 equals 2, which is the right answer. Again, it's always best when you have the same signs in a group, like multiply and divide, to go left to right. So 18 is the best answer. Add and subtract is a group. 2 plus 3 is 5, minus 1 equals 4. Now you're going to find something interesting here. Let's do the 3 minus 1 first. 3 minus 1 is 2. 2 plus 2 equals 4. Most likely when you add and subtract, it's probably going to be the same answer. Now, time to do that laundry. Alright, can you do it? Did you take your notes? This is a pause and play section, so I'm going to show you these answers, then I want you to hit pause. I'm sorry, this is the question, not the answers. Hit pause, try to work them out yourself, and I'll work them out for you here in a moment. And welcome back. Let's work these out. Alright, PEMDAS, parentheses, exponents, multiply, divide, add, subtract. That's my grouping. I'm going to do in parentheses first. 4 plus 2 divided by 3. Now inside the parentheses, I have a division problem. Ugh, that's horrible. I don't want to do 2 divided by 3. Let's do 2 times 3. There we go. Okay. 2 times 3 is 6. 4 plus 6 is 10. So inside the parentheses, we have 10. Now, outside the parentheses, I have an exponent. So before I do anything else, I have to do this first. 2 squared is 4 plus 10. My answer should be 14. Now I know you didn't get that because you did the 2 divided by 3. So forget that problem. But that's the answer. Okay, now let's go with 5 minus 3 plus 10 times 1 divided by 2 squared. First, in parentheses, since this is addition and subtraction, and that is a group, just like multiply, divide, I'm going to do this just left to right. 5 minus 3 is 2. 2 plus 10 is 12. 12 is inside the parentheses. Now I could leave it there or I can take it out. In this case, I'm just going to take it out because I worked out everything inside the parentheses. But it doesn't matter. We'll go in here. 12 times 1 divided by 2 squared. Okay? Here I have an exponent. Well, let's do the exponent. 12 times 1 divided by 4. Now I do from left to right since I'm in the group of multiply and divide. 12 times 1 is 12 divided by 4 equals 3. So, order of operations for all of this gave me the answer of 3. You have to do it in the right order. There are no boogeymen. I'm safe in my house. Y'all have a good night.